the life of Cleopatra the seventh. The one we know was Cleopatra the seventh. Okay, the last Egyptian pharaoh. She was infamous, okay, but she was far more than just the lover of Roman leaders Julius Caesar and his successor Mark Antony, or his right-hand side man. So born in 69 BC, she was the daughter of Ptolemy the 12th, Orcletes, a notoriously lackadaisical monarch, and rose to power as co-ruler with her brother in 51 BC. So who was Cleopatra, aside from being a queen? Okay. Eventually, after her other siblings died or were killed, Cleopatra became sole ruler of Egypt with Caesar's help. They conceived a secret love child, but after his death, she took up with his number one, Guy Anthony. Okay. So they had a ton of fun together, but trouble was brewing in the form of Anthony's brother-in-law and arch-rival Octavian, later to become Emperor Augustus. So Octavian defeated Anthony and Cleopatra at the Battle of Actium in Greece in 31 BC, after which she and Anthony committed suicide. So the story goes. Anyway. So, as we were saying earlier, probably Cleopatra was not an Elizabeth Taylor in the looks department, okay? And she played the role very well in a certain context of what the producers wanted it to look like, okay? But sadly for Cleopatra, she probably didn't match her famed portrayer in the looks department. Archaeologists uncovered a coin bearing her face, on which she looks pretty plain. But ancient accounts differ. Roman historian Cassius Dio claimed she was a woman of surpassing beauty. And at that time, when she was in the prime of her youth, she was most striking. So Plutarch alleged that her intelligence, charm, and voice were more alluring than her physical appearance, though neither of these accounts were contemporary. But the academic consensus today is that her political brilliance and alluring manner were her real attractions. Okay. So let's have a look at what Cleopatra did. Okay. So she maintained Egypt's independence until her dying breath by allying herself with the most powerful enemies. Okay, and in the tradition of Hellenistic and Egyptian monarchs, she divinized, is probably the right word, I think, herself, and played the role of a goddess. Okay, so that was her choice. She put herself up to that. Okay, unlike her predecessors, though, Cleopatra bothered to learn Egyptian, making herself popular with her subjects, her Egyptian subjects. So brilliant, charming, and ruthless. Cleopatra was one of the most fascinating rulers of the ancient world. Okay. And I'm sure a lot of you have read a lot about many of them. Okay. But somehow Cleopatra really sticks out amongst the other rulers. I think basically because she was a woman, and so that really intrigues us. But anyway, Cleopatra used Julius Caesar, okay, and she used him to get the throne. Okay, Cleo didn't flirt with Caesar because he was hot, and he was a cool guy. Okay, she just used him to get what she wanted. Okay, Rome started to threaten Egypt during her father's reign, with some politicians talking about annexing Egypt and granting his lands to the Roman citizenry. So Cleopatra's father fled to the Eternal City once he was deposed, and the Senate and Caesar helped him get his throne back, but at a cost. The Romans gave him a finance minister to help him out, but the guy they gave him stole a lot of money from Egypt. Okay, sounds like today. Anyway, Cleopatra needed money and military help to stay in power. So she matched wits with a man at the top, Julius Caesar. Cleo used him to cultivate military support for herself over her little brothers. They met in 48 BC, when Caesar's arch rival Pompey landed on Egyptian shores and was promptly killed by Cleo's little brother. Caesar followed Pompey and came to Egypt, where he met a brilliant young queen who appealed to him intellectually and sexually, and history was made. Legend says she smuggled herself into Caesar's bedroom wrapped in a rug. Okay. Legend has it that Cleopatra had herself wrapped in a rug and smuggled into Caesar's room, but that was probably false. Okay. Plutarch states that she was tucked into a bed sack, probably a bag of royal linens, okay, and plopped into his chambers. Other sources claim she was rolled into a carpet to evade her brother's forces. So regardless of how she really arrived at Caesar's side, it is no wonder he was enraptured with her. She was brilliant, charming, sexy, and less than half his age. They went on Nile cruises together, probably made love until dawn, and exchanged political ideas. Who knows exactly what they discussed, but he did leave her with a present, a bun in the oven. Okay. So we know that they did one thing. So in true Egyptian fashion, Cleopatra declared herself a goddess. Although her Ptolemaic or Ptolemaic predecessor had done the same, often assuming the role of Greek deities, she went one step further and echoed previous Ptolemaic queens by associating herself with Isis, the mother goddess. Isis was the mother of Horus, if you remember, and the first pharaoh god of Egypt. By making herself Isis incarnate, Cleopatra was declaring she was the divine mother and protectress of the two lands and her people. She also tied herself to her subjects and solidified her rule. Like Isis and other mortal queens, Cleopatra married her brother. She wore sacred robes at a festival and had herself portrayed as Isis in statue. She was dubbed Near Isis or